Hey everyone, this is Kirsten, and my road to Kona really started in 1999 when I randomly wanted to do this fitness challenge from the newspaper that was a 500-yard pool swim, a 10-mile bike, and a 2-mile run. So I decided to do it with a couple of my personal training clients, and at that point my resume looked like high school swimmer, mountain bike, just tooling around on the trails. And I was really into speed walking. I quote, told my husband, I would never be a runner because running is so hard on your body. So that's where I was when I did my first triathlon. I ended up getting second overall for females, and I loved that I didn't have to be a great swimmer, biker, or runner to still be a good triathlete. And that was really appealing to me, so I was stuck. I was in. The following year, I did another sprint and an Olympic, both in a pool. And after I finished the Olympic, I decided I wanted to sign up for an Ironman. Luckily, about a month later, they announced that there was going to be an Ironman in Boulder. New company was putting it on, Ironman distance, and so I signed up. So without having ever swam in a lake, without having ever been on a road bike, and without ever having run more than 10K, which I just did the week before, I decided I was going to do an Ironman. And I don't know why, I just thought I wanted to. So anyway, I had a great experience during that first race, and then I spent the next 10 years doing more and wanting to get better and faster. And I had ups and downs like everyone, some injuries and overtraining and learning about my training, figuring out my body, figuring out my nutrition, and took a couple years off in there, didn't do anything, and then came back and really wanted to see what I could do at the ripe old age of, I think I was 38 when I came back. That year I did St. George for the first year on very little training, so it was super hard, but I finished it. I was 28th in my age group, which is nothing to sneeze at, but it got me excited again. So later that year I did the Silverman, which was also a really hard race, 10,000 feet of climbing on the bike and 6,000 feet of climbing on the run. And I was actually the only woman in my age group who finished. So I was thinking, wow, all I have to do is just keep going and, just be tenacious and determined and just finish. So that was a really great lesson for me. The following year I did Lake Placid, and I feel like I trained really hard. I feel like I trained the best I'd ever trained. Still ended up 31st place, which again is not too bad because there's 150 or so women in my age group, but it would never get me to Kona because you have to be in the top, usually 2, maybe 3 in your age group. So people always said, oh, are you trying to qualify for Kona? And I always say, well, isn't everyone? Because I was just too embarrassed to kind of say, yeah, I want to go there because I was so far away from going there. So this year I decided when I heard so then I went back to, I want to do St. George again because I thought I could do really well. So last year, signed up for St. George, trained my butt off, felt amazing, best shape of my life. 2 weeks before the race, I broke my collarbone, so I couldn't race. I was really bummed, but it got me excited. And about a month after St. George, that I didn't do, they announced that they were doing Lake Tahoe. And I'd never been to Lake Tahoe. It sounded beautiful. It sounded like a tough course. It's at high elevation, and so I signed up. And just, had it in the back of my mind because that was 15 months ago. And then decided at the beginning of this year that I was going to make that my A race. I was going to go do whatever I could to see what I could do at that race. So my friend, and I only told a few people because I was still kind of, scared to really put it out there that I wanted to qualify for Kona. So I maybe told my mom, my husband, a couple of my friends, Ashley, Wendy, Jail. But I did tell my friend Tara because she is my business accountability partner, and we every 2 weeks we go over our top 10 goals for the year. So that was always qualify for Kona, qualify for Kona. And so she was like, oh, you should, she always wanted me to do videos for my business. And she's like, oh, you should do a video and tell people what you're doing to qualify, because, you know, that's really interesting, because you're not, you know, this elite athlete. You're just a regular girl wanting to qualify for Kona. So I was so nervous my first video. Just to put it out there that I wanted to qualify, because, you know, the best placing I'd ever got in a qualifier was 19th, and that was in 2005. So the last few years, my places have been 28th and 31st. So, I mean, that's pretty far away. And those were, I felt like I was training as hard as I could, and I felt like I was going to the best of my ability. So, I put it out there, and it was so scary, and I put on Facebook for people to read, and I saw people were watching it, and it made me really nervous, but I stuck with it. I made a video every week, and I realized I was doing really well this year. Late last year, I PR'd my marathon. Early this year, I did a Ironman just for fun, just to do a marathon in Florida, because I'm doing 50 marathons in 50 states, and I PR'd that with very little training. The following month, I PR'd my half marathon, and then went on to do 3 marathons in 3 weeks, which I never thought I could do, all in, you know, about my average time that I normally get for a marathon for all 3. So I was feeling really strong. I was feeling like, you know, I'm getting better. I'm 40. I'm, you know, finally figuring out what I need to do with my body and my nutrition. I'm really paying attention to that, and started feeling really good. So we decided to go to Lake Tahoe for the summer so I could train on the course. So we were in Lake Tahoe for 90 days while I did my training. And I did everything I needed to do. I was hitting all my milestones. I was hitting all my benchmarks. I was resting when I needed to. I was working on my nutrition, which has always been a downfall of mine. And ended up at the end of the summer, a month before Tahoe, I PR'd my half Ironman distance by 13 minutes, so that felt really positive, like I was doing the right stuff. And then 2 weeks before the race, I just randomly went out and did a 5K, and I actually PR'd. And my best time before that was in 2005, so that felt really good. So I was feeling really confident. I am going to do a race report about the Tahoe race, but it ended up in me being 3rd place and getting a slot to Kona in 2014. So I did it. My road to Kona was a success. I'm really, really happy, obviously, but mostly because it was a really far-fetched dream. So I believe in dreams, and I'm always that, you know, positive person, and everyone's like, oh, you're so inspirational and positive, but it's because I truly believe it. And I do believe if you really want something, put it out there, even if it's scary, even if it's embarrassed. I was so embarrassed to tell people I'm going to qualify for Kona. But I put it out there, and I was brave, and I kept doing it and made my video week after week, and I made it. So if I could do it, anyone can do it. So thank you.